Hello and welcome to Lunch with Aidan.
Lunch with Aidan.
I'll work on a much better jingle at a later date. However, today we're going to be doing the third recipe. Whoa! Right, today, so with this curry, it's pretty simple. All we need is some chicken. I've got some frozen packets of chicken, rice, some vegetables, and a selection of herbs and spices. And, well, let's see how it goes. Now, usually I would recommend buying either fresh chicken or frozen chicken because it's cheaper, but let it defrost. But the chicken I bought today, these Asda chicken breast mini fillets, apparently can be shallow fried from frozen, so we're going to see how that works out. Usually I will use an olive oil, but because the curry obviously isn't very Mediterranean, I'm just going to use a bit of this organic sunflower oil, which is quite marvellous. Pretty large pieces of chicken. Usually while they are raw, I cut them up into smaller, but today we're going to just do a bit of an experiment and just go with this. Now what I usually do at this point, before they've actually started cooking, even though the heat is on, I actually put a bit of curry powder straight onto these pieces of chicken. And I'd do the same if it were any other meat, so if I were cooking with lamb or maybe beef. Do that and then just move them around. So that it definitely is getting all over, although these are frozen so it's a lot less fluid. But this I find helps a little bit in the way that the pieces of chicken are a bit more flavoured whilst they're cooking there, and whilst they are being cooked they actually absorb some of the flavour from that. Now, as the chicken gets underway nice and nicely, we're going to move on to the vegetables. Now I've just peeled the carrot, top the tail, and taken all the skin off the onion, and with the green pepper, I used to use red pepper but found it was too sweet for a curry, so I use green pepper now because it's more of a bitter savoury taste. But what I've done is just run a knife around there and just pulled out the core, ready so I can just chop up everything, basically. Some people say that this is the incorrect way of cutting a pepper, but I'm yet to see the instruction manual for how you actually do that. So, but I found that this way is the most resourceful. Now the chicken is sizzling away nicely, and in a moment we'll check that is cooking all the way through to the core, because I mean the problem with cooking meats from frozen is you have to make sure they are done all the way through, but we'll check that in a minute. And with the vegetables, I'm just, as you've seen before, just putting a bit of oil in there, a bit of sunflower oil, and just frying them up like that. Now just finished cutting up the pepper, and I'm just going to put that all in there with the rest of it. And this frying pan is quite full of vegetables, but it should all still cook the same. Wonderful. And in a minute we'll just check that the chicken is doing well. Right, so just to prepare ourselves, I'm just going to work out how much rice we're going to have. So I'm just using a normal tablespoon. I'm going to get the rice out of here. And this is the pot we're going to be using. So I just put one. I'm going to do a small portion, probably enough for two people. So I'm doing 3 of these spoonfuls for each person. So I end up doing 6 spoonfuls in all. That should be enough. Because it's me, I'll put 1 for luck. Now with this, that is plain basmati rice, but what I like to do just to give it a little bit of colour, it doesn't enhance flavour that much, but it's put a bit of turmeric in it. Now you won't need much turmeric, that's enough, very small amount. in there. It doesn't do much to flavour, but it does a wonderful job of turning that basmati rice a wonderful yellow colour. I had to turn the extractor fan on because of the fumes coming off of this, but I'm just going back to this. Now the chicken isn't properly cooked, there's still a little bit of pink in there, which is going to be a slight problem if your pieces of chicken are bigger. I usually cook them smaller, because they are bigger they're going to take a little while. Now the packet says it should take 25 minutes, but we're just going to check that these are cooking through by just opening it up. Now obviously you want to check that the thickest one is cooking all the way through, so the easiest way to do that is to find the thickest one, which I think is this one. So we're just going to chop that open and have a look. Now that is pretty white on the inside, but just to make sure, I'm going to keep this going for a bit longer before I add the coconut milk, which is going to be the bulk of the curry. Anything else we're just going to do to make the vegetables a little bit more flavoursome is just put a bit of this coriander. Now this is fresh, and obviously I'm not going to use all of it because there's quite a lot. Just got a couple of leaves, just going to drop them in there. Maybe get a few more. What I usually do is, like that, that's perfect. Not too many, but coriander has a wonderful strong flavour, perfect for curries like this. And so just mixing that in, and I'll probably do the same with either the rice or the chicken at some point. Now just coming to one side, I'm going to run you through the coconut milk. I'm using this creamed coconut milk. You can buy cans of it, that'll just come as a liquid, but I find you get a better result when you use one of these. Now that's just the box, and then what comes out of the box is this solid slab in a bag. So what we do with this is cut this little bag open. This slab of the condensed innards of a coconut goes into boiling water and dissolves. So here's the recently boiled water, and I've just opened up this packet. For best results, you put about somewhere between 400 and 600 millilitres of this boiled water. The more water you put in, the more milky it'll be, and obviously the less water, the more creamy it'll be, and I prefer creamy, especially for a smaller portion like I'm doing today. So there we go, that slab is in there, and it's already starting to dissolve, and basically just continuously stir that just to make sure it's all dissolving in together. Now the chicken is basically cooked all the way through, so I've just moved down to a lower heat on a back burner. The vegetables I've moved on to a higher heat just to make sure they're cooking better. And now I've started bringing the rice to the boil, and you can see that the water in there has already turned a very yellowy colour. You can see that a bit better now. Now this is basically completely dissolved, and you've got a relatively thick, nice mixture there, and that's basically become coconut milk. Even if there are a few little bits in the bottom, basically you just pour that straight onto the chicken, and even if there are the lumps in the bottom, they will just melt away under the heat of the pan. Yeah, we'll just do that now. So here we go, I'm just pouring this straight onto the chicken like that. That forms a lovely, will be a lovely sauce. Now, there's quite a lot of it, and there are some quite significant lumps, but basically they just pour straight onto that, and they will just naturally melt straight onto that. And the rice is going away nicely, vegetables coming nice and soft. It's all coming together. Now for the completion of the main curry sauce, I'm going to be putting paprika straight onto that, and that is really good colorant, makes it a really nice red colour. That's the first of the spices we're putting into that. I put quite a substantial amount in there, because paprika doesn't have a very strong flavour, it's more of a bold colouring like the turmeric would be. You can see already, just mixing in that paprika, it's already turned that a very nice orange colour. But we're going to put in a little something else that's going to make that even more vibrant. Now, if you're unfamiliar with curry pastes, I would say go for this one. It's just called harissa paste, and the best one I found is from Sainsbury's, but the ones from Tesco and Asda are alright as well. Basically, it's a pretty little jar, and just put all of that straight in with the chicken. There's the contents of that jar just there, and here's the spoon which I'm going to lick. Damn, that's hot. Okay, I'm just going to mix the rest of this in, which does slightly improve the colour as well. It make it more of a lovely orange colour, but the thing about that is that it's got basically just whole bits of chili pepper in it, which is a marvellous addition to the flavour, let us say. Basically just that's basically all you need, so for the sauce, that is. So I'm just going to turn the heat up on that, because we need to cook more of that off, because it's still quite watery, and what we want is quite a thick sauce, so we want to cook off a lot of the water. But basically, apart from that, most of the things come together. The vegetables are now cooked and they're very soft. The rice is nearly there, everything nearly there. So then what's going to happen is that we're going to mix the vegetables and the rice together. Okay, so this rice is pretty much done. You can see how orangey yellow it is. I still like to keep it a little bit moist when I mix it in with the vegetables. So here we go, just plopping that straight in there. It's a bit risky because this is quite a small frying pan, but just going to mix that straight onto there. Hopefully the camera isn't too steamed up. Whoa! So the vegetables and the rice are mixed together, and that looks quite marvellous, if I say so myself. And now we're just waiting for the chicken sauce to just completely cook through, which it nearly is done. So that's that basically done. We have the rice and the chicken curry there, and you can have this with naans or bhajis or whatever you like. There's a relatively good range of that sort of thing at supermarkets. But now we're going to eat half of this, and then the other half we're going to put away to freeze. So there we go, that's my tutorial on chicken curry. So that half is quite a lot of sauce, which I like. That half I'm eating, and the rest of it I'm going to put away to store coldly. But I'm going to eat this bit. So, as I like to say, bon appetit.